A very good evening to one and all present here. It is with deep honor and immense pleasure that we extend a warm welcome to the distinguished guests, esteemed faculty members, and valued participants joining us today. We are gathered here for a momentous occasion, the observance of World Environment Day. This global initiative not only illuminates the precarious state of our natural world, but also invigorates our collective resolve to act as stewards of environmental restoration.
Today's event is meticulously organized by the Kerala Law Academy Law College in association with the Forestry Club and IQAC KLA. We stand united in purpose with a firm commitment to raise awareness, stimulate informed dialogue, and advocate for environmentally responsible action. The Kerala Law Academy Law College, established in the year 1966 under the visionary leadership of the late Dr. N. Narayanan Nair sir, is a venerated institution that has long served as a crucible for legal scholarship, societal reform, and civic consciousness. Over the decades, the Academy has cultivated an educational environment where academic rigor intersects with the real world relevance. It transcends the boundaries of conventional pedagogy by nurturing legal professionals equipped with analytical equity, ethical clarity, and an enduring commitment to justice. Renowned both nationally and internationally for its contributions to legal consultancy, research, and progressive policy development, the Academy continually empowers students to engage in discourse and advocacy on platforms that matter, be they in courtrooms, academic forums, or global environmental dialogues such as the one we host today.
We are at a crucial point in human history where the environmental crises we face are no longer distant threats but urgent realities. The ongoing impacts of climate change, deforestation, pollution of air and water, and the loss of biodiversity highlights decades of unchecked industrial activity and neglect towards the environment. These issues cross geographical and political boundaries, resulting in rising sea levels, unpredictable climate patterns, worsening health outcomes, and irreversible loss of ecosystems that are vital to life on Earth. To forge a sustainable future, we must bring together governments, businesses, academic institutions, and citizens in a united effort. This includes promoting environment friendly behaviors, implementing strong environmental policies, and fostering a culture of conservation within our schools and communities. As the distinguished primatologist Dr. Jane Goodwill so profoundly stated, what you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make.
At this moment, it is our privilege to invite an academician whose insight and eloquence continually inspire her students and colleagues alike. Advocate K. Kavya Mohan Ma'am, Assistant Professor at Kerala Law Academy Law College, to formally deliver the welcome address. Ma'am, we are honored to have you lead the proceedings with your words. The platform is yours.
Thank you, Joyce. Good evening to one and all. Respected Professor Dr. A. Bijukumar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies, Advocate Nagaraj Narayan sir, Director, Kerala Law Academy and Member Bar Council of Kerala, Professor Anil Kumar K. sir, Director, Administration, Students and Faculty Affairs, Professor Harendran K. sir, Principal, Kerala Law Academy, Professor Anil Kumar G. sir, Vice Principal, Kerala Law Academy, esteemed participants, faculty conveners, student coordinators, and my dear friends. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this meaningful event organized in observance of the World Environment Day by the Kerala Law Academy Law College in collaboration with the Forestry Club and IQAC. Today, as we gather to reflect on one of the most pressing concerns of our time, the protection and preservation of our environment, we are reminded of the deep responsibility we hold as individuals and institutions in shaping a sustainable future. This occasion is not just a celebration, but a call to consciousness, a moment to pause and rethink our relationship with nature. Today, we are honored to have with us a distinguished person whose expertise and passion for environmental conservation are both inspiring and thought-provoking. Professor Dr. A. Bijukumar sir, Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies. Previously serving as the Dean of the Faculty of Science, Sir is also the Senior Professor and Head of the Department of Aquatic Biology and Fisheries at the University of Kerala. Sir's illustrious career include notable positions such as Director of Research at the University of Kerala, Scientific Officer at the State Committee on Science, Technology and Environment in the Government of Kerala, and Principal Scientific Officer and Member Secretary at the Kerala State Biodiversity Board. Sir holds a BSc in Zoology, an MSc, MPhil, and a PhD in Aquatic Biology and Fisheries, all from the University of Kerala, and is internationally trained in taxonomy and DNA barcoding at prestigious institutions such as the Czech Academy of Sciences, Adelaide University, and Guelph University. He's recognized among the top 2% of scientists worldwide in zoology and marine biology, according to the 2023 Stanford LCB list. He's a recipient of numerous accolades in academia and research in the field of taxonomy, ecology, climate change impact on biodiversity, aquatic pollution, and invasion biology. Sir has collaborated with students leading to the identification of a new family of parasitic copepods, 8 genera, and over 55 new species of aquatic organisms, with 3 species named in his honor. With over 230 research papers and 26 books to Sir's credit, he has supervised approximately 20 PhD candidates and is an active member of the IUCN Species Survival Commission, fostering collaborations and promoting science education, environmental awareness, and ocean literacy. So we're eagerly looking forward to your insights that will surely enrich our understanding and ignite action. With utmost pleasure, I welcome Sir to the session.
Thank
Now, it is my distinct pleasure to extend a warm welcome to Advocate Nagaraj Narayan Sir, Director, Kerala Law Academy, and an esteemed member of the Bar Council of Kerala. Sir, your unwavering support and visionary leadership are integral to our mission, guiding us as we strive to excellence in our academic and social endeavors. It is my immense pleasure to welcome you at this session, sir. I would like to welcome Professor Anilkumar K. Sir, Director, Administration Students and Faculty Affairs, Kerala Law Academy. Your commitment to fostering a nurturing environment for both students and faculties is essential in sustaining the spirit of academic excellence within our institution. I extend a heartfelt welcome to Professor Anilkumar K. Sir to this session. Next, I extend a heartfelt welcome to Professor Harindan K. Sir, Principal, Kerala Law Academy. Your relentless dedication and insightful leadership serve as a source of inspiration, encouraging us all to elevate our academic initiatives. Hearty welcome to you, sir. We're also privileged to have Professor Anilkumar G. Sir, Vice Principal, Kerala Law Academy. Your mentorship and commitment profoundly shape the development of our student community, and we're grateful for your impactful contributions. Welcome, you, sir. Next, we have Professor Dr. Ajita Nair L. Ma'am, Head of Department at Kerala Law Academy with us today. Ma'am, your academic contributions lay the essential foundation of our college, and we are truly appreciative of your efforts. I extend a heartfelt welcome to you, ma'am. Now, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Dakshina Saraswati Ma'am, Associate Professor and General Secretary of the KLA Moot Court Society. Your support and guidance are invaluable to the success of our events, and we are thankful for your commitment. Welcome you to the session, ma'am. Next, I extend a warm welcome to Advocate Kasturi Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy, whose clarity of vision, thoughtful coordination, and relentless enthusiasm have ensured that every detail of this program reflects the spirit of the occasion. Ma'am, your presence and dedication truly inspire the entire student community. I extend a heartfelt welcome to you, ma'am. A special welcome to Advocate N. K. Shashidharan Nair, sir, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College, whose strength, meticulous planning, and consistent support have been a pillar of this event's organization. So, your attention to detail and commitment to excellence have elevated the quality of our preparations. And a warm welcome to Advocate Giridhar Vinod, sir, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College, whose dynamic involvement, creative input, and hands-on guidance have brought energy and cohesion to the team. So, your encouragement and unwavering support have helped us move forward with confidence. Now, I'm delighted to welcome Advocate Gayatri S.P. Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy, who is proposing the word of thanks for today's event. We are honored to have you with us, ma'am. Let me also extend a very warm welcome to all our respected faculty members, student coordinators, technical team, and the vibrant student community. Your active participation makes events like these not just possible, but impactful. As we commence today's session, may it not only add to our knowledge, but also deepen our commitment to environmental stewardship. Let this be a space where minds are inspired, ideas are exchanged, and action is encouraged. Once again, I welcome each one of you. Let us make this event memorable and meaningful for ourselves, for our community, and for the planet we call home. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your gracious and thoughtful words. Your address has indeed provided an ideal prelude to the conversation we are set to engage in today. I take this opportunity to welcome you too, ma'am, to this event. It is now a great honor to introduce the chief guest of the evening, a distinguished scholar, eminent marine biologist, and an academician of extraordinary repute, Professor Dr. A. Bijukumar, sir, the Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies. Sir's exemplary work in the realm of marine biodiversity conservation, ecosystem research, and science policy integration has earned him recognition both within India and across global academic and policy networks. Sir's scholarly contributions stand as a beacon for those committed to evidence-based environmental governance and sustainable resource management. Sir, we are privileged by your presence and humbled by your willingness to share your insights with us this evening. We now invite you, sir, to address the session. Sir, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. And I'm delighted to be part of uh, the law fraternity in front of me. And also a set of very close friends and relatives in the academy. I am very pleased to be talking to them as well. Okay. And my sincere Environment Day wishes to all. And many of you are young, and then we actually are giving you a planet which is a bit damaged, and then it is actually your duty to see that the greenery comes back, the rivers flow with its pristine characters, and the oceans still brings a lot of positive energy to all of us. And that is with that note, let me share my thoughts with you and share what is the time schedule for my presentation? It's how much time I can take? If it's a timeline or what?
Sir, there is no such timeline. You can take as much as time you want.
Okay, then I talk to you for 40 minutes. Long time discussion is basically not a welcome sign in the modern era. So, but still, I can talk up to 40 minutes and then answer your questions related with that. I also need some answers from the legal point of view from all of you. Okay, so when I talk and you can note down, and I also ask some questions to you so that the things are clear to me as well. Okay, so let me start. I primarily intend to speak on plastic pollution, which is a theme of the World Environment Day today, and then specifically, my focus will be on oceans, primarily because we had an incident in Kerala, which was actually a disaster. And then we need to address this issue in multiple planes, including the local, there are some international issues as well. Okay, so let me share my screen and then I'll talk to you on this subject. I hope you can see this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so the discussion point today will be the plastic pollution and what are the issues which we face and what are the solutions that the time offered to us. And while discussing plastics, I ask a question to all of you, rather a challenge I'm posing in front of you, and that is can any one of you in this group with this almost close to 600, can any one of you mention a day in your life when you are free from plastics? You start from the day in which you are born, and you think of today, and you think of a day where you are free from plastics. I'm sure that there will not be any, nobody can actually take up the challenge. The day begins with a plastic when you hold a toothbrush in your hand. And the day ends when you look at the mirror, when you use a comb, that also the day also ends with the plastics. So the issue, but everybody speak about the issues of plastics. It is not the plastic that's an issue, but it is actually the use of a single-use plastics that's a major concern in the world today. So when you think about a place in the planet which is free from plastics, you will not be able to find it out. Right from the Mount Everest to the greatest canyons, the greatest, the Mariana Trench, you will find plastics everywhere. And now, because of our space journey, you will find plastics everywhere in space. That means even space is not spared. And then you think about what is plastics and where it comes from. And, the discovery is only 50, 70 years old now. And, every plastic material, be it the plastic carry bag which you use, or the Teflon clothing in your cooking, the utensils, everything has a plastic component in it, even a space shuttle. And all these qualities of plastics and extensive use of plastics for multiple purposes comes from some of its qualities. What are the qualities? One, many plastic items are lesser in weight. So this lightweight is one of the reasons why we may use them in many purposes, including in space shuttle manufacturing, or even the manufacturing of a chair, etc., etc. So lightweight, and then it's durable. It will remain in that shape for a longer period of time, and cost effective. It is less expensive than the wooden material or the steel material, etc. And then it is resistant to water. It is resistant to many of the chemicals. And all these good qualities of plastics are reflected when the environmental issues are concerned. Okay. And that means, if the plastic, every kind of plastics basically comes from the crude oil, the natural gas, and the coal, and which is a polymer. And then all these materials are very hard, very brittle in its raw form. And then how it can be molded into different shapes by adding a lot of chemicals. And first thing is a softener. The plastic is basically a hard material. When you add this softness, it becomes soft. And then you can use it for multiple purposes. And then when you have this material, and this is called bisphenol. Bisphenol is one of the most potent pollutant. It can mimic the hormones in your body, and it can impact your immune system as well. So that is an issue. Okay. So when all these things happens, the plastic became a problem. And then for preventing fire, a lot of chemicals are added. Giving color, a lot of chemicals, including heavy metals, are added. So plastic, which you see in the present form, is plastic because it is added with a lot of chemicals. And throughout the world, for many kind of plastics, more than 200 chemicals are used in developing various kinds of plastics. Okay, and this is an issue. And then if you look at the growth, economic growth of many countries in the world, and plastic is an essential component, because I told you everything, including your computer, phone, everything has its plastic components. And for example, you look at these graphics. And if you look at the graphics in 1950s to 70s, the production was very little. It's only 2 million tons, global production. At present, the global production is 400 million tons. And the future scenario is projected to be 1,100 million tons by 2050. That means in any standard, all the economies throughout the world, the production of plastic is going to increase. That means it's not a problem today. It will remain as a problem tomorrow as well. So this is one thing which you need to understand. Okay. And then the issues is that, different kind of materials, different kind of plastics takes different number of different number of years to degrade in the ecosystem. For example, you look at a styrofoam cup which you use, or a thermocol plate which you often use for serving the materials, the food items. It takes 50 years. But in the case of a aluminium can, it may take 200 years. And it's a napkin or a plastic bottle, it will take up to 450 years. And if it's a plastic road or a plastic line, then it will take more than 600 years. So that means it will stay in the ecosystem for a longer period of time because of the addition of all these kind of chemicals. Okay. And the current use of plastic is very high. And India is now, earlier China was in that position. Last year in 2024 end, India became the country which generate maximum amount of plastic waste globally. And every day around 2,000 garbage trucks of plastic enter the oceans and our aquatic ecosystems. And it's a global issue. And India became the world's largest plastic waste generating country in 2024. So that means we have a responsibility again to manage this. Okay. And different kind of plastic materials actually enter into the oceans. And there is one difference. Whatever is there in the land, the pollution, the plastic, you see. And then you can say that you can order for removal or you can volunteer for removal. But the problem with the aquatic ecosystem or the ocean, which represents 70%, more than 70% of our Earth, the plastic is invisible. That means the plastic remain inside the water, so it's very difficult to quantify it. I'll come to the details later. And there are different sources through which the plastic enters into the ocean, and the majority of the plastic which you see in the ocean comes from the land-based sources. Okay, that means any kind of plastic waste which is not managed in the land ultimately reaches the ocean, and then some of the debris is carried by the storm and wind and to the ocean. And just like what happened in Cochin, a shipwreck, and that also liberates a huge quantity of the plastic into the ocean. And then from the fishing industry, whatever is actually the damaged fishing gear, it may be thrown back into the ocean. Sometimes by accident also, the fishing nets will reach the ocean. So all these things are issue, and we'll discuss one by one. And then I'm not giving any number, but if you look at the statistics, okay, and 1 million plastic bags or plastic bottles are purchased in every minute. So if you take a global average, 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute in the globe, and 5 trillion plastic bags are used worldwide every year. That means all these things are single-use plastics. That means we use it for a single time and then we throw it back. So this is one issue. Okay. And every minute, the equivalent of one garbage truck of plastic is dumped into the ocean. So that means, the amount of plastic which is there in the system and which will ultimately reach the system in future will also be very, very high. So all these things are, the emerging statistics, which of course makes us worrisome, especially when you see the future of the planet. And then you go to any of the beaches in Kerala and walk for a 100 meter. And then you can see that in every 100 meter, you will see at least a few plastic shopping bags. Right. And then if you precisely examine the smaller plastic particles on the beach or on the sand, it will be hundreds. That means, it's actually omnipresent. Everywhere it is present. And in fact, it is actually the indicator or a marker of the Anthropocene or the human-dominated era. So that's plastics. Okay. And there are some still, I'm not discussing the very, very in-depth details of that, but still I wanted to tell you one thing. These plastic particles, when it is smaller plastic pieces, we call it microplastics. When it is present in the ocean, they absorb large number of chemicals in the water. So this absorption, along with the chemicals, they absorb microbes also, the smaller microorganisms, including the pathogens. That means each particle will carry hundreds of microorganisms and including pathogens. And this is called the plastisphere. The animal community, the microbial community growing on a plastic film in water is called plastisphere. So plastisphere is a major issue. Now the antibiotic resistant bacteria also travel in the plastic pieces. They travel from one place to another. So this is a new discovery. And when in the sea, unlike in the land, there is wave action, there are water currents, and many of them are exposed directly to the sunlight. As a result, quickly, these larger plastic particles are converted into the smaller particles. And there are some theories which says that by 2030, there will be more plastic in the ocean than the fish. Okay, so this is a general estimate. And also, there are very interesting stories about plastics. For example, in 2011 tsunami, uh, the 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 animals present in the Japan coast, they are carried, they traveled almost more than 1,000 kilometers, and they reached the American coast. And how did they reach? They are all on board in a plastic materials. So these plastic materials ultimately help in transferring the organism one part of the ocean to the next part of the ocean, thousands of kilometers apart. So this one of the study indicate that almost 280 organisms, marine species, were carried from one part of the ocean in Japan, thousands of kilometers away into the American coast. So that means it's called mega rafting. So they help in spreading the invasive species from one part of the world to the other. So these are the recent studies. And then to look at Kerala. How do the marine ecosystems in Kerala they are impacted with the plastics? And the reason is very simple. We have 44 rivers in Kerala, and for 40 out of the 44, 42 reaches the Arabian Sea. They flow into the Arabian Sea. So along with their journey, they carry huge amount of plastics. And the typical example is the 2018 flood. So 2018 flood saw all these kind of scenarios in Kerala. So every bridge in Kerala was filled with the plastic materials. That means this is an indication that all these rivers in Kerala, they carry huge amount of plastic. It's basically, we consider the rivers as the dumping grounds of for the solid waste materials. And in the ocean, they are also travel a long distances. Okay. For example, if you look at this area, this is called the Northern Pacific, the garbage patch. Because in ocean, they will not stay in a particular place. There are underwater currents. There are, the currents in water. They carry them to huge distances, and there will be actually worlds, and they get circulated in the worlds. And there are some areas where the plastics accumulate and continuously keep on moving in a circular path. And these are called the garbage patches. And there are definitely identified garbage patches, six garbage patches across the world's oceans, and where thousands of tons of plastics remain in circulation because of the circular movement of the water and the rotation of the earth. All these create a very interesting phenomena. That means there are certain areas which are filled with the plastics where the plastic is in circulation along with the water current. Okay, these are called garbage patches. And there is also a very interesting story. We heard about a shipwreck in Cochin a week ago, but there are similar accidents happening in different parts of the ocean. And one accident happened in the Atlantic Ocean, where a cargo ship containing plastic toys, it met with an accident, and all the toys went into the water. Okay, fine, no issue. It was toys, but the toys, after the incident, after 30 years of this accident, the toys appeared in different parts of the world, traveling thousands of kilometers. This is again an indication they still keep on coming in different parts of the world. So that means these, along with the garbage patches, along with the water currents, these plastic toys are getting deposited in different parts of the world even now after 30 years of the accident. So this is again a problem when the plastic reaches the oceans. Okay. And whether similar things happened in Kerala, because we will not see, if any one of you go to the seashore and look at the ocean, you will not see anything there, but everything is underwater. Okay, and this happened in Pundra fishing village few years back. When there is a cyclone, and everything which was underneath the sea, they were all brought back to the fishing village. So it's a classical example of the sea returning everything back to the places of its origin. Okay. And then another problem in with the plastic is that they are larger plastic waste materials, but they gets converted into smaller particles. I'm not going the details of that, but the two things you should understand. Some of the particles which are less than 5 millimeter is called the microplastics. Okay, and still if they are smaller than 0.001 and 0.01 millimeter, and the range, that range is called nano plastics. So the finer plastic particles are more troublesome than the larger plastic waste materials. I will come to that. For example, when you drive a car along a road, every turn of the wheel create a lot of plastic particles from the tire. It may finally reach the sewage canals and reach the ocean. And when you wash a synthetic cloth in either directly or in a washing machine, thousands of the nano fibrils, they are washed out, and they can even enter into your bloodstream. Okay, and then every marking in the road, they use plastic, the paints now, and they also contribute microplastics. That means, and personal care products like the face wash, they also are made with some of the finer plastic beads. So that means, the plastic material, the waste material which you see in your environment are not the only contributor for microplastic pollution. All these materials carry microplastic, including city dust. Okay, so that means there are many sources. Now come back to the story in Kerala, where there was a ship wreck. And you can see that this shipwreck happened, last on May 22nd, 25th. And today, the government released a list of the things in the containers. Okay, today only. And the list shows that there were all these containers which you see here, they carry multiple things, including oil, the diesel oil, and then a lot of almost 14 containers are with almost 14 containers are with the very hazardous calcium carbide, and also some other new chemicals are listed in the thing. Along with that, what happened was some of the containers, almost 15 containers, carry plastic pellets. And then what are plastic pellets? If you look at these things, these are all the things gets deposited in Trivandrum district last week. And these are all smaller plastic pellets. And scientifically, they are called plastic nurdles. And these are microplastics less than 5 millimeter in size. They're all used for making different kind of plastic materials. Okay, so they are one of the major items in the containers. Now the problem is that the government finds it very difficult to actually remove them because they are less than 3 mm. And this is Kovalam, which is a very famous tourist beach. And this is not the wave; these are all the plastic particles coming back to the Kovalam beach. So this is a very serious issue because thousands of tons of the plastic pellets now are there in the a region between Varkala to Kanyakumari. And why did this happen? And this incident happened one week back in Kollam. Now it is monsoon season. The wind is actually southward. So this wind creates a water current towards the south. We call it Tekkan Ghat. Along with the Tekkan Ghat, the water comes towards the south. Okay, and this happens till the monsoon is over. When the monsoon is over, wind will start flowing on the northern direction. That means from here, there is every possibility that these plastic particles are carried towards the north of Kerala. That means these particles will remain there, and the government has now initiated cleaning the beaches. But then we don't have a procedure, a protocol for doing that. Okay, and then there is a legal issue because who will actually bear the cost? Because there is a company which actually carried this material, and then it is actually the responsibility of the company. And the company should own the responsibility of cleaning the beaches. But that is fine. But who will clean the ocean? Because we have no technology there. And who will get the compensation? And all these things are again the legal questions, and there are international implications as well on this. So now the major threat with the government is to see how we remove it from the beaches. It's very difficult, but they started doing that. In Tamil Nadu, they are much more efficient because they use conventional sieves, and because it should be lesser than 5 mm. and then you have to sieve it and remove the plastic alone. You cannot actually bury them because that is more dangerous, because all the things which are in the ocean, it will remain for a very, very long period of time, maybe hundreds of years. So then they all carry chemicals. They all when they are all very small and easily eaten by the marine organisms. Then what will be the fate of these organisms, and what happen with the chemicals inside these plastic molecules, and what will happen when they are converted into still smaller molecules called the nanofibrils? All are questions. And so far, science believed that if a plastic material enters inside the body of an organism, it will be eliminated along with the fecal matter. But the problem now is that, the nanofibrils and very, very fine plastic particles can now penetrate through the blood vessels and reach every part of the body. And that is a problem now. And now this is the micro nanoplastics have been detected from the brain, from the semen, from every part of the human body. And then we don't have any research now. Only in the last few years, the various researchers started analyzing the implication of nanoplastics on human health. So it's a health issue as well. Okay. And then there are many of the organisms feed upon these plastic particles and ultimately reaches these organisms and try to accumulate in these organisms in a larger manner. So this is a problem. So there will be ingestion entanglement, and this is a problem with entangling. So one issue is many organisms eat it and it block the intestine, and sometimes they may kill. And if they are not killed, these chemicals are actually absorbed into the body, and then it accumulates when they move in the food chain as well. So these are all classical examples of what happens when the plastic is there in the beach or in the ocean. Many of the organisms get entangled, and this is a classical example of a seal where the net enters inside the body. They continue to grow, and then when it happens, it just cut off its the arteries towards the head. So all these kind of things happen when the plastic entanglement happen. And this is one thing which we documented from the Kerala coast. This is a migratory seabird, and you can see a plastic lid, trapped in their beak. They cannot open this. The animal cannot open the mouth. It cannot feed, and you can see when it flies, it blocks the view also. So there are thousands of examples like this, and in fact, there are some studies which shows that none of the marine organism is now free from microplastics inside the body. Okay, that is an example. And then another problem is that when the nets are thrown back into the ocean, they remain in the ocean. Nobody attends it, and every day thousands of organisms are killed. And that is the reason why the discarded fishing gears or fishing nets are called ghost nets. In Malayalam, we call it predavala. So predavala means every day it creates death of organisms. That is another issue to be addressed. And when the plastic enters inside the body, there are a lot of issues that happens. I am not explaining that. It includes degradation. It affects the food intake, growth. It happens injury, mortality, and physiological changes, because many of the chemicals inside the plastic, they mimic the endocrine hormones, etc. So this is an issue. But in India, the reported food intake and toxicity is the only concern. For example, plastic, materials which are used for wrapping the food material. There only the toxicity is tested. None of the other plastic, the toxicity is tested. Okay. That means, if you are carrying the tiffin in a plastic container, I recommend not to do that, because when there is heat, it may, liberate certain chemicals. So it's always better to use steel containers for, carrying the food materials. Anyway, so all these things are to be done in future, because in India, we have only the toxicity with regard to plastic is applicable only for the food wrappers. Okay. So that is something, again, legally probably we need to discuss. And, and many of the studies are limited to the commercially valuable species. And so far, there is no report on plastic pellets. This is the first report after the ship accident regarding the pellets. Pellet is a primary microplastic because it is manufactured small. It is manufactured as pellets. So that's the reason why it's called primary microplastics. And when the larger plastic molecule gets into smaller particles, it's called secondary microplastics. So all the plastic pellets which you have seen now, they're not primary because it's manufactured like that. Okay. I'm not discussing details. And then you look at this. For the first time in Kerala, we started documenting what lives underwater in Kerala coast. And this is a scenario from Andaman and Nicobar Island. And this is at 50, almost 40-meter depth from Trivandrum coast. From Thiruvananthapuram coast, this is a scenario. Many of the fishing areas are completely choked with plastic waste. And if you are a diver and if you really wanted to see underwater life, and then many times we get mesmerized by the beauty. But at present, what you see is something, mind blowing and very, very disturbing for us as biologists or ecologists, because this is a scenario in many parts in the coastal areas of Kerala, filled with the plastic. And many, as you can see, what you use in your home is there at 50-meter depth in the ocean. Everything reaches the ocean, because many people dump everything in the sewage canals and then ultimately come to this area. And, death in many of the areas taken by my friend Umeed Mistry from many coral islands in India. So, so the impact is very severe. It impacts many organisms, and there are so many experiments. I'm not discussing the hard science with you, but there are experiments done which shows that even smaller particles selectively feed upon microplastics, and they get into the body. And all these smaller organisms are the food material for the fishes. That means, yes, if a single organism, single fish like a sardine or mati, will feed upon thousands of these organisms. And that means they get accumulated. This is called bioaccumulation. So in every food chain, and when human beings feed upon that, they get 100 times more the dosage than what is present in these smaller planktonic organisms. So all these things are there, which is again a disturbing factor. And I already told you about the cloth. When you use a synthetic cloth and then you wash it in the washing machine, with every wash, thousands and thousands of microfibrils reach the system. And microfibrils, since it's very, very small, they are filtered by the organism. They enter into the body of every organism. Through food, definitely it enters into the human system as well. Okay, and then they degrade very fast in the ocean. That's another problem. And it also has an ability to impact the global biogeochemical cycles like the nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycles, etc. So all these things are there. And there is an argument that only in the coastal shallow waters the plastic is present. No, even in the Mariana Trench, which is more than 6,000 meters, the plastic is there. And we have conducted a study on deep sea fishes living in Kerala coast up to 300 meters depth, and invariably every fish carried microplastic. That means from the land, it reaches the deepest part of the ocean. So this is again another problem. And in the food chain, as you can see, from the smaller organisms, it enters into the larger organism in a larger proportion. It's called the biomagnification. That problem is also there. And finally, the current discussion is that these very, very smaller plastic particles called microplastic and nanoplastics can enter every part of human body. And the recent study indicates that it is there in the brain, it is there in the semen, it is there in the liver, it is there in the placenta, everywhere. That means in many of you, your body, in every part of the vital organs in your body carry the nanoplastics. Okay, so, but we are only beginning to understand their implications, because only recently the science understood that these microfibrils, nanofibers, and the nanoplastic molecules can actually go through the blood vessels and get circulated in the human body, gets deposited in the vital organs, etc. So this is something very, very important when you discuss about the impact on the humans. But we have only little knowledge. Only the scientists started, discussing about that. And there are some very strong, the discussions about the fertility issues, etc., connected with the chemicals which is present in the very nano plastic materials, especially the PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, and these are all, and phthalates, which are very common in the plastics. All these are, even minor quantities, will have a lot of implications, especially reproductive abnormalities, developmental abnormalities, endocrine disruption, and some of them are carcinogenic as well. So that means this is something very serious. In future, we will be discussing a lot. Okay. Now, the next and final part of my discussion is what is the role of the government here. And if you go through the plastic management and handling rules of India, it is the responsibility of the government, the local bodies, to manage the solid waste. Okay. And then this is revised and amended several times. And government has initiated very a large number of specific initiatives. Like we have a national marine policy in India. It is not in the making. Last year, in 2024, they brought out a national marine litter policy. Okay. Now the policy has to actually get transformed into action. And then we actually banned the use of single-use plastics. And every plastic is not an issue, but single-use plastic, and when it is used and is sent back to the system, it is actually a problem. But there is no monitoring mechanism. And even despite a ban on single-use plastics is very everywhere. For example, the government, as per the rule, they actually regulated very fine polythene carry bags. And you go to any market, anywhere in India, except in certain, the protected areas, you will get it in plenty. Okay. So that means there is no monitoring mechanism, there is no strong will actually to regulate single-use plastics, etc., etc. And I'm not discussing every government scheme, and the Swachh Bharat, Swachh Sagar Abhiyan, Clean India Mission, and these are some of the other initiatives by the government. And for example, Kerala government has initiated a very interesting and innovative exercise. This is called Shujitwa Sagaram. What is Shujitwa Sagaram? The fisherman who is going into the ocean every day, especially trawlers actually collect organisms from the sea bottom. So they get more plastic than fish these days. So they were advised to bring back the plastic back to the sea, back to the land. And all the women self-help groups in Kudumbashree, they were employed for cleaning it. And with a shredding machine, it is converted into finer plastic molecules, and they are all used for making roads. Okay, in road construction, they are extensively used. So this is one of the classical examples. Even the UNEP in their website specifically congratulated this program. But unfortunately, that this program, which was launched in Kollam district, has not been replicated anywhere else. And there are issues now with the payment of some honorarium for the fishermen, and making it actually a regular exercise. That never happened. നമ്മൾ കേരളത്തിലെ വലിയൊരു പ്രശ്നമാണ്. നമ്മൾ വലിയ സംഭവമായിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരും, പക്ഷേ ഇതിനൊരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് അതിൻ്റെ ഫോളോ അപ്പ്, അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കണ്ടിന്യൂറ്റി ചിലപ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാവാറില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ക്ലാസിക്കൽ എക്സാമ്പിളാണ്. Okay, and then there is a new scheme coming up by the government of Kerala. All the clean beaches, based on certain indicators and indices, are now considered as blue flag beaches. And blue flag beaches is a quality certification for its cleanliness. Kapada in Kerala is one such blue flag certification. So there are in India at present 12 beaches with the blue flag certification, an indication that the beach is clean. Okay, so if there are more number of beaches with the blue flag certification, and again as an indication of the positivity of the government to actually clean up the beaches and maintain it clean. And then I introduce an advocate to you, and his name is Afro Shah. I don't know how many of you have heard of him. And many of us complain that I, as an individual, cannot do anything. But this man, this advocate, because of his passion for nature, he started cleaning the waste which is accumulated in the Versova beach in Mumbai alone. And then when you do it alone, he is mad. Okay, so he was mad to that sense. And then when people saw him cleaning it, and then other people joined, and then he made some campaigns, and and the newspapers carried the story, and he brought some purposefully, you should bring the film stars. Okay, and then he brought some film stars, and it became an event. And then Amitabh Bachchan also came along with him for as an ambassador for propagating this idea. And from 2015, and you'll now look at the scenario of the Versova beach. That means in continuous service, almost 3 kilometers of Versova beach is very clean. And last few years, the turtles started coming back. So this is a classical example of how a single man's initiative for cleaning the ocean actually can transform the entire sector. And also, he became you can just Google his name, and then you can see a lot of stories, success stories, and films about him and his activities. A classical example of single man initiative. And then Prime Minister in his speech, Man Ki Baat, mentioned specifically about a Keralite. And for the first time, many of the Keralites actually heard his name. He is called Rajapan. What Rajappa? He is actually a physically handicapped person. And then he every day goes to the Vembanad Lake, collect whatever plastic bottles he get. Okay. And then he sell it for his living. But what the service he does for the last few years, several lakh bottles from the Vembanad Lake. And they were that means this is a service to the nation. There are people like that as well. And there are large number of colleges, NSS volunteers who usually frequently clean up the beaches. And that is again something which you can do as an educational institution towards your social commitment as well. And then science also offers a lot of solutions. And one of the solution is that you can find out alternatives to that, alternatives to the plastic molecules, and that research is happening in many parts of the world. And another thing is actually you cannot clean up the plastic in the ocean. It is not economically feasible. And many of the plastic basically come from the land. That means you make the solid waste management on land perfect. Then you can reduce the impact. So this is called upstream regulation. This upstream regulation is also there. And I will come to the 5R, etc. later. But extended producer responsibility, this is something legal. For example, this is there in the amendment rule, plastic handling amendment rule in 2022. It carry a word called extended producer responsibility, or EPR. EPR, according to EPR, if a company make any kind of plastic pollution, it is a responsibility of the company to see that they collect it back. For example, if you look at globally, what company, what brand is there maximally in the beaches? You will end up with the two companies, either Coca-Cola or the Pepsi. Okay. And then it is the responsibility of the company to take the bottle back and give the money, the money of the bottle to the consumer. Okay, so this kind of an exercise, a default exercise, should actually come for plastic pollution management also. So now the government has started initiating that. It's not in a full stream. They started experimenting this EPR with many of the companies, and that will be another step. And then single-use plastic ban. It is not carry bag alone. For example, look at the Tetra Pak. When many juices actually come in Tetra Pak. It has plastic, aluminum, again the paper. So it is more dangerous than the single-use plastic. So that means you can go for single-use plastic ban. Before that, you have to have alternatives as well. Okay, then you can impose extra fine for the material, etc. This is another possibility. And education and awareness and improved waste management, infrastructure, all the things which you can do upstream in order to prevent the entry of the plastic into the ecosystems. Okay, and you can do some downstream exercises as well, like source reduction. So you reduce whatever plastic you actually buy for home. Go for recycling, go for waste management, or go for beach cleanup programs, go for public awareness program. And then you do some kind of innovative research so that you can bring out the alternatives to plastics. So all these things are downstream management measures. And some of the academic institutions, they have a lot of innovative thing. We actually introduced a scheme as part of our European Union project. It is called the ink pen drive. You know the pen drive, but how many of you use ink pen? And I know that many of you use many of us, including me, I never use pen now because everything is keyed in. It's actually an economically, the environmentally friendly activity. But when you use plastic pen, every time you replace the refill, okay, and that is also plastic. So if you use an ink pen, you can use it for good quality ink pen. You can use it for several years. Everything is eco-friendly. And this is a drive which we launched called Ink Pen Drive in order to propagate and promote the use of ink pen in the academic campuses. And then, we have another promoted another thing called a 7R concept. You might have heard about 3R. reduce, reuse, and recycle, which is a very prominent thing in the field. But there are some with R's which are added. One is replace. So if you have a replacement, for example, if you carry a cloth bag whenever you go for a shopping, you can replace the plastic with the cloth and reject. If a shopkeeper gives you a bag, and then if you don't want it, you can reject it. Okay. And if you don't want a straw, plastic straw, when you drink a juice, you can reject it. You say that you take it back, I don't want it. You have to tell it before. And many of the star hotels now stopped using the bottled water. They have in the room they have started giving the glass bottles. That's a good initiative. Many of the foreign restaurants, they stopped using straw. I still don't know why the people use straw for drinking juice. Very strange. Okay, and then you rethink whenever you do a purchase a thing. You just rethink whether this will have some kind of a negative environmental implications, and then you reorient yourself in your action, etc., etc. But unfortunately, in Kerala or in India, the people have no civic sense. I don't know. You have to advise me how to increase the civic sense of the people. For example, if you think about you eating a sweet, immediately you wrap the cover, you place it in somewhere. You throw all the waste material somewhere. This you will not do when you are in Singapore. This will not do when you are in Europe or America. And that means our civic culture, if you go through the national highways, on either side, you will see the plastic waste dumped by somebody, some other residents association, all these are human beings only. If you don't know how to behave in the public, and then what is the problem? Is the problem with your education? So that kind of a culture, you will not see any foreigner coming to our tourist places depositing any plastic waste publicly. They keep it in their pocket and their bag, and they keep it in a place where they are supposed to go. So all these things should actually happen as part of education, and this awareness program, including the seminar, should actually do that. And then the government is also promoting circular economy. This may be a new term to you. Circular economy is a kind of thought where nothing is wasted. A byproduct of a company will form the raw material of something else, so that there will be zero waste generated. So that kind of zero waste concept is also coming up in the recent past, which you need to understand. Okay. And also, if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by 2030, and there are many goals which are actually connected with the clean environment as well. I'm not discussing that in detail. Okay. And there are a large number of global partnerships actually coming up, and everything specifically working on the marine or plastic issues. Okay, there is something called a Global Partnership on Plastic Pollution and Marine Litter. There is an initiative called the Global Tourism Plastic Initiative. Actually, India and the Indian government as well as Indian organization can actually partner with them for many kind of these anti-plastic campaigns happening across the world. So there's a lot of possibility for partnerships as well. And now there are a lot of research happening to find out alternatives to plastic. Okay, and also cleanup technologies. What happened with the plastic pollution or the ship due to a shipwreck? We don't have a machine actually to remove the plastic pellets from the sand. But there are instruments available across the world, and there are instruments available to check the entry of the plastic from the rivers to the ocean. So all these things are there, but we need to innovate, and we need to do a lot of research in future. Okay, and there are even artificial intelligence sources which can help in monitoring their movement in the ocean, etc. A lot of alternatives are available which you can start start using. You can reject something and you can reuse certain things, etc., etc. And then if you have 30 days in a month or 31 days, you try to do it every day. For example, if it is a plastic water bottle you are using every day in your college or no academy, you remove it with a steel container. Very bit heavy, but you are doing an environmental cause. Okay. Throw away all the plastic bag, and for shopping you always keep a cloth bag. It will last for a longer period of time. And so like that, every day you can start changing some of the things. So ultimately, it is not Environment Day, but every day become an environmentally conscious day. And then you contribute your share for a sustainable future. So this is another thing which you can practice. We have published a book which you can download. It's called Plastic in the Ocean. It's freely available for download if you Google that. And finally, youngsters, a lot of youngsters are now thinking different. And the people like me who are very seniors, they are responsible for all these kind of changes in the world. Okay, they deteriorated the world, and the young girls like Greta Thunberg, they started demanding to the government that you should change. Because we are the younger generation, we need an earth which is clean. Okay, so she started the campaign against the climate change, and she has been shortlisted for the Nobel Prize for Peace last year, less than 18. So you should remember. And she also started something called Fridays for Future. The school students started strike on Fridays, leaving the schools, and for an environmental cause. So there are people, and then earlier, world's 100 most influential, leaders. Many of them are now environmentalists and advocates. It's again a change which is happening. That means these kind of environmental issues are now heard. The youngsters are now heard, and they have a lot of power to change the world. And then because you need a world which is very clean, but for that we need better leaders, and who actually practice what they preach. And you can become one of the leaders, okay, and start advocating. We also need a lot of green advocates. Issues are many now. Thank you.
Any questions from the audience side?
It's not a question. I'm Sandhya, attending the speech. I thank you for the enlightening speech. Around 600 people are attending this conference now. I would request each one person in the law academy at least, if we can switch to ink pen. Nothing happens. I have been always using ink pen only. And it has just become a habit. That's all. It's only a question of habit. If we can change this one habit, if 600 people change this habit, I think it will be great. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a great suggestion.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, Nagarajan sir.
Sir. Vijay sir.
Yeah.
Vijay sir is
We are
my
actually meeting after a long time.
after a long time. So we are related.
Yes.
Sir, one issue about the ink pen. So this ink pen, the problem is if we write with ink pen, if some water falls or some dampness or it becomes wet. Or,
Yeah, that is there. But currently, except in very rare cases of flooding, normally you think you can think about a day when it happens. None of us actually get our books wet, except in very very
no,
rare.
because
It
when
happens.
we
I
go for rough
agree.
use, because we write and keep it, and we always keep on traveling,
Right.
and these papers are there,
Yeah, yeah.
and when it is damp servers or wetness or humidity when it comes, then it is not safe. So, is there any such substitute for this
Yes,
dot
there are,
pen?
because what we do, because ours is an aquatic department, aquatic biology department. So we use waterproof ink. It is available. So
Okay, okay.
even you put it inside the water, nothing will happen. It will not spread. So this is
Oh,
available.
ink.
Yeah, ink is available. Waterproof ink is available. So
Oh, waterproof
we,
ink is
yeah, we use that for some of the purposes, and that is a
Oh.
bit expensive than the normal ink, but
And the comfort we will not get with the dot pens comfort, we will not get with ink pen.
That happens, if you start doing it in the school level, then you can use it,
that is
But
should
if
be
you use
trained.
it,
It should be
if
trained
you,
from the
yeah, if
from
you
the
use
basic.
it when you are 25 years old or 50 years old, this is difficult.
It is not possible.
Yeah.
I am 54 past 55. At this age.
But people like
Sir,
you only sign, then you can use ink pen.
sir, what sir? What sir?
No, people like us, we primarily use a pen for signing. Okay, just for signing. So
No,
that,
we use for writing and a lot of things.
yeah, advocates
For
definitely.
preparing
Advocates can
notes and
contribute a lot
all.
because you write lots in paper.
Yes, yes, yes. Sir, it was really enlightening
Thank you.
speech.
Thank
Another issue is I'm just wanted to know what is the extent of this damage that is happening at present because of this marine
you.
pollution?
It's huge, because it happened in 1 week time, but the impact is actually the impact of hundreds of years.
No,
So
overall, all around the
overall,
world.
yeah,
How it is affecting marine life?
considerable. For example, if you look at the discarded fishing gear, every day it is reported that it kills around 1 lakh animals. So because it's floating like that, so whichever animal passes through that, it all get trapped, and that happens.
And said what percentage has it affected in this fish catch and for as far as fishermen for
So yeah,
as resources,
that
food resources?
it's not just the fisherman's catch, but in the marine life as such, in some areas the impact is very strong, especially when some of the organisms which are killed are dolphins. And they are the ones which are highly impacted because they travel with the sound, not with sight. So then for that, they are the one group which is highly impacted. For example, every time we go to the beaches and see the dolphins death in Kerala, and majority of them have this issue of entangling in the net or ship hit, etc.
Sir, one more issue as to reuse. Now, the dot pens and all these, can they be reused in the sense that?
Yeah. Only thing is that the problem, for example, if there is a seminar, we supply the 5 rupee pen. It is made up of recycled plastic. It will not last more than 1 year. So if you use a very
Cannot be
strong,
recycled.
yeah,
It cannot be recycled.
it cannot be recycled also. And then if you use a metal pen, okay, as a compromise, you can use a refill. But if you use a good quality plastic pen, that still lasts longer. So this is basically using it for a longer period of time rather than using it and throw it away.
The refills also cannot be reused.
No, it cannot be
Cannot
reused.
be, cannot be
It cannot be recycled.
recycled.
It cannot be recycled.
So they are all going to. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, we have a question from Tarun, who is our second year student. So he has said that he's a foodie. He just wanted to check if it's safe to have fish because there are many apprehensions going on in the social media these days. So he would appreciate your views. I think many people would have this question in mind. Sir, could you please answer this?
Yeah, as of now, the pollutants, especially plastic, immediately the next day, the pollutants won't come inside the fish body. And another concern for us was actually the oil pollution, which was actually contained. Oil pollution is already contained in the shipwreck. And the next concern is actually the hazardous chemicals, which is already in the container. There are around 14 containers with calcium carbide, and some of the today's list I also show some kind of hydrogen, etc., which is also a potent chemical. So next challenge is actually to locate these. At present, unlike a cloth container, etc., they're all very tightly packed and tightly sealed. So that's the reason why so far no leak actually came out. Now the challenge with the government is to locate them and using some technology, pump the chemical back into the deck. So that is what now the government are trying. So as of now, there is no news of any leakage of these chemicals. And that means as of now, there is no issue on eating fish. But what the government has already, made a consortium of different organizations for long-term monitoring. The problem is that the major issue is that all this plastic is going to be there in the ocean for a very, very longer period of time, hundreds of years. So that means, if there is microplastic issue and there is contamination issue, we need some kind of regular monitoring. And that is what the government is now doing. As of now, eating the fish is not a problem, but we need long-term monitoring and see the amount of pollutants in coming days and coming years also, which essentially means that we need a long-term monitoring and check whether any of the contaminants are above the standards, etc. So that is it.
Thank you, sir.
Iswaran sir has given some comments. You can unmute Dr. Iswaran sir, who was the former chief veterinary officer.
Yeah, I know my great friend is
of the wildlife department of the
yes,
forest.
yeah.
Iswaran sir, maybe you can unmute Iswaran sir.
Yeah. And his question is, does the hormone mimicking chemicals in plastic cause genetic mutation in marine animals and may
The
make
host
them?
can unmute Iswaran sir. And also Indujudan sir is also there, has also given. Indujudan sir is also a former senior official of the forest department.
Yes.
The most reputed person.
Both of them are my good friends also. Anyway, a question I'll answer. Yes,
Sir, my question is regarding the microplastics and macroplastics. Is there any bacteria which can kill the microplastics? Any scientific enthusiasm is going on that?
Yes. There are some research happening. But unfortunately, the media project it as plastic eating bacteria. It is not like that. There's no bacteria which actually eat on plastics. But some other bacteria can degrade plastics. Okay, they work on the plastic and they degrade the plastic. So that research is happening in an experimental level. But in the pollution which happened in Kerala coast, like several kilometers, they cannot do anything. So sometimes we'll end up with some of the bacteria which can efficiently degrade them. So that research is happening, and also there are some research happening on the biopolymer. Some of the bacteria can make plastic-like substances, okay, which could be an alternative to plastic. So all these are happening in the laboratory, but we need to actually commercialize and put them into the commercial scale. Okay, then coming back to Ishwaran sir's question, yes, there are two chemicals which are very dangerous in plastics, which are added to make the plastics soft. Okay, maximum amount is there in toys. Many of the toys which you buy for your kids, okay, they are all very soft. Never buy that. Okay, never buy any plastic toys because they keep it in the mouth, and they're all they are soft primarily because huge amount of phthalates are added. Phthalates are carcinogenic. Phthalates are persistent, and phthalates can actually mimic hormones as well. So it may actually impact their the reproductive issues. They mimic hormones. They cause some kind of genetic issues as well in the long run. So that means it's something of concern. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I think Sunil Kumar sir has a question. He has raised the hand. Sir, please unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Okay, sir. It's again regarding the use of fishes in the shipwreck. You already said that the bioaccumulation will take place. So if we use and again you said that nowadays there's no problem to use the fish. But if bioaccumulation will take place,
there is a possibility for a bioaccumulation, but that will happen in several months' time. Okay, so that means we need a continuous monitoring to check the amount of the accumulation, if at all it is happening. So that means as of now, this is not a big issue, but once the results are there after a period of time, then the government will explain that to us, and then many agencies are examining that. And as of now, there is no issue because all these things, bioaccumulation will not happen all of a sudden. It will take its own course of time.
Okay, thank you.
From the audience, if anybody of you want to ask something, the stage is open for you. Please do.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Dinesh. I'm the registrar of the KUFOS, where Viju sir is the vice chancellor now. Sir joined only in actually no the last few days only. Like excellent presentation it was. No words to appreciate. But one observation I want to make at this point of time that some students actually like wanted to switch over to the ink pen. So such kind of decisions can actually take take you long in this regard. I feel so. Sir has actually given us a message yesterday while he was actually speaking to the academic fraternity of the university. Sir told, please don't give me any more bouquet or with plastic flowers or else the mementos. You see the business happening in this scenario, like thousands and thousands of mementos are sold. Anyway, there is an economic or else livelihood aspect of it that there is in it, but still many this kind of bouquet or these things are actually getting wasted to the environment or else like kept idle at homes and like so if when there is actually beautiful gathering is there more than 500 now. So if you can be a part of that, like uh, communicating to people. So our vice chancellor told no more like, so he wanted a replacement. That is actually, no, you can, of course, you can give me a gift, but in the form of book. Then that will be read and will be given to your library back. So this kind of great observations and messages will be worth at this point of time, I believe. These are my observations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh sir. Thank you.
Sir, I also have, sir, I'm Dr. P. Sahadevan, Malsafet Managing Director.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Biju, for your excellent presentation. I have two questions to you, and I have also one answer to Nagarajan sir's question. Sir, Nagarajan sir, the quantity of the fish decline is somewhere around, according to FAO's statistics, due to ghost fishing, around 10% of the world fish catch is coming down. Around 10%. And every year, around 640,000 tons of marine plastics, microplastics is contributed by ghost fishing alone. So that is the statistics according to the latest FAO study. And to Bijukumar sir, I have a question that don't you think the absence or lack of law, a dedicated fishing law for the in the exclusive economic zone of India is contributing to the ghost fishing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because
you
do
know the
not
problem
have
here.
a dedicated law exclusively for the management of marine fisheries in India.
Yeah, that is true.
The law for territorial sea. Beyond that, we do not have.
That is true. That is true. But we are waiting for an international plastic treaty to be signed by the world leaders next 2 months after this. So there is a specific focus on the ghost fishing gear as well as other restrictions in the exclusive economic zone. And there are dedicated chapters on that. I read the draft of that. So that will happen a global plastic treaty, including managing the plastic in the exclusive economic zone. And then by then, the government can also, Indian government can also come up with some of the modifications, some of the pertinent modifications in our own Marine Fishing Act, or a separate law in that regard. So we are waiting for the international plastic treaty to come. And then definitely we can discuss with the government as well for that.
What is this ghost fishing?
Ghost fishing is, sir, that is what I said, whenever any kind of fishing gear given back into the ocean, so they look almost like it's called a പ്രേതവല in Malayalam. കുറച്ചും കൂടെ നല്ല വാക്കെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പ്രേതവലയാണ്. കാരണം ഓരോ ദിവസവും it will kill large number of organisms every day. So this is
net fishing.
It is netting. It is all plastic and net. It is not even fishing. Nets which are discarded into the ocean. They remain
nets
as
which are discarded in the ocean.
in the
Why
ocean.
should that be discarded?
Many of the things are discarded purposefully. Some of the nets, for example, if it is old, okay, so the fishermen, they will not keep it in the seashore because because it requires space, and then they put it back into the ocean. That is one source. Accidentally, it may happen during rough seasons. The nets in the seashore, they're all taken back by the ocean, etc. So there are and accidents also. So all these things contribute. They are called wall of death, especially when huge, larger, some of the nets are several kilometers long. They float here and there, and every day kills large number of organisms.
Sir, according to the latest statistics by FAO, around 46 to 70% of the marine plastics in the sea is contributed by ghost net alone.
Yes, it's a
46
very
to
serious issue.
70%.
It's a very serious issue. If you have time, I will show you a video which is shot in Kerala, Trivandrum Ghost, about ghost net. You want to see that? You have time? 3 minutes only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
ഇപ്പൊ നിങ്ങൾ കാര്യം പറയുന്നത് ഞാൻ
Just to show the impact,
Thank you, sir, and heartfelt thanks to everyone who asked questions, who made this session even more insightful and meaningful. Thank you very much, sir, for your illuminating words. Your words serve not only as a repository of scholarly knowledge, but also as a compelling call to action, urgently needed and profoundly impactful. As the legendary environmentalist Sir David Attenborough wisely asserted, the truth is the natural world is changing and we are dependent on that world. It provides us food, water, and air. It is the most precious thing we have, and we need to defend it. As we approach the conclusion of today's webinar, it becomes essential to express our deepest gratitude to the individuals whose support and dedication have ensured success of this meaningful event. To deliver the vote of thanks, we now warmly invite Advocate Gayatri SB Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College, to take the stage and formally convey our collective appreciation. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just
Somebody,
one minute.
one person has
just
asked a
one,
question.
just one question on the
One
video.
person.
If you can ask, then I can answer. Yes.
Pavitra. This unmute Pavitra, so she wants
Yes,
to ask
sir.
a question.
സാർ നേരത്തെ കാണിച്ചൊരു വീഡിയോയിലെ
ആ.
അത് എൻ്റെ ഒരു ചെറിയ ഡൗട്ടാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്.
ഉം.
ആ വലകൾക്ക് വില കിട്ടാത്തത് കൊണ്ടാണ് ഫിഷർമാൻ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി അത് അവിടെ തന്നെ ഡംപ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് വരുന്നത്. പണ്ട് കേരളത്തിൽ ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് നടപ്പിലാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
ഉം.
കടലിൽ മത്സ്യബന്ധനത്തിന് പോകുന്നവര് പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് തിരിച്ച് ബോട്ടിലിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവർക്ക് ചെറിയൊരു റെമ്യൂണറേഷൻ കൊടുക്കുമായിരുന്നു.
അതെ.
ഇത് നീണ്ടകര ഭാഗത്തൊക്കെ നടപ്പിലാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഹാർബർ ഏരിയയിൽ.
അതെ, ശുചിത്വ സാഗർ.
അതുപോലെ അതെ.
ഉം.
അപ്പം ആ പ്രോഗ്രാം പോലെ തന്നെ ഇപ്പം ഈ നെറ്റിനൊരു വില കിട്ടാത്തത് കൊണ്ടാണ് പലരും അത് നെഗ്ലക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കടലിൽ തന്നെ. അപ്പൊ അതിന് ഒരു റെമ്യൂണറേഷൻ നമുക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നതല്ലേ? അതുപോലെ
ആണ്. പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
അതുപോലെ നേരത്തെ ഒരു ക്യാമ്പസുകളിൽ ചെയ്യുന്ന നാഗരാജ് സാറ് പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ നമ്മള് ഇങ്ക് പെൻ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ചിലപ്പം ഒരു ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടാവും എന്ന് സാറ് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, വെള്ളത്തിന്റെ കണ്ടന്റ് ഒക്കെ വന്നാൽ. പക്ഷെ അതിൽ ഉപരി നമുക്ക് അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു സജഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പേപ്പർ പെന്നുകൾ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ നന്നായി അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. അതിൽ റീഫിൽ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ബോഡിയിൽ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക്കിന്റെ കണ്ടന്റ് കുറവാണ്. അപ്പം അതിനെയും കൂടി നമുക്ക് ക്യാമ്പസുകളിൽ എൻകറേജ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ലേ എന്നുള്ളൊരു സജഷനാണ് എനിക്ക് മുന്നോട്ട് വയ്ക്കാനുള്ളത്.
രണ്ടും നല്ല കാര്യം, രണ്ടും സജഷൻസ് നല്ല സജഷൻസ് ആണ്.
അതുപോലെ സാർ ഒരു ഡൗട്ടും കൂടി ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്. ലേറ്റസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ കണ്ടെയ്നർ അടഞ്ഞല്ലോ. അപ്പം ആ അടിഞ്ഞ സമയത്ത് പലതിലും കിട്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളത് ഗ്രാനുവൽസ് ആണ്. ഷ്രെഡഡ് പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഗ്രാനുവൽസ് എങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് നമ്മുടെ സീഷോറിൽ നിന്ന് റിമൂവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? അതിന് എന്തെങ്കിലും ടെക്നോളജി ഉണ്ടോ?
ഓക്കെ, ഓരോന്നായിട്ട് ഞാൻ മറുപടി. ഒന്നാമത്തെ ചോദ്യം, വലകൾ തിരിച്ച് കടലിൽ ഫിഷർമാൻ എറിയുന്നതിന്റെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാരണം തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും വില കിട്ടാത്തത് തന്നെയാണ്. എന്തുകൊണ്ട് വില കിട്ടുന്നില്ല എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇതൊന്നും റീസൈക്കിൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അതായത് ഒരു വലയും നമുക്ക് ഇതുവരെ റീസൈക്കിൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അത് ഗവൺമെന്റ് എടുത്തിട്ട് പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ട് ഡിസ്പോസൽ മെക്കാനിസത്തിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് അവർക്കൊരു ചെറിയ വിലയെങ്കിലും ടോക്കണായിട്ട് കൊടുക്കാനുള്ള ഒരു നിർദ്ദേശം മുന്നോട്ട് വെക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. അത് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ കുഫോസിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു നിർദ്ദേശം ഗവൺമെന്റിന് കൊടുക്കാം. ശുചിത്വ സാഗരവും തുടരുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവും നമ്മുടെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്ന് ഉണ്ടാക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമം നമ്മൾ നടത്താം. സദേവൻ സാർ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട്, ദിനേശ് സാറുണ്ട്. സോ വി ക്യാൻ ടുഗദർ അപ്രോച്ച് ദ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ആസ്ക് ഫോർ കണ്ടിന്യൂവേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദിസ് പ്രോഗ്രാം. കാരണം ഇതൊരു ലോകത്ത് തന്നെ ഒരു മോഡൽ പ്രോഗ്രാം ആയിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്.
ഒന്ന് ആഡ് ചെയ്യാം, അതായത് ശുചിത്വ സാഗരം വീണ്ടും അത് കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള തീരുമാനം സർക്കാർ ഓൾറെഡി എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ തുടക്കം എന്നുള്ളതെല്ലാം ഇപ്പം ശുചിത്വ തീരം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടൊരു പദ്ധതി ഒരു 10-15 ദിവസം മുമ്പ് ഇനോഗ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു അത് അടുത്ത വരുന്ന ദിവസങ്ങളിൽ ശുചിത്വ സാഗരം വീണ്ടും കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള സാധ്യതയുണ്ട്.
എല്ലാ സീഷോറിലും ഒരു ക്ലീനിങ് നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഒരു ക്യാമ്പയിൻ.
ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു മാഡം. പിന്നെ അടുത്ത വേറൊന്നും കൂടെ ആഡ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ബയോഡീഗ്രേഡബിൾ ഫിഷിംഗ് നെറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സാധനം വളരെ നന്നായിട്ട് വരുന്നുണ്ട്. അതായത് ഡീഗ്രേഡ് ചെയ്യും കടൽ വെള്ളത്തിൽ. CAFT ഒക്കെ അതിൽ നല്ല റിസർച്ച് നടത്തിയിട്ട് വളരെ നല്ല പ്രോഗ്രസീവ് റിസർച്ച് ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട് ബയോഡിഗ്രേഡബിൾ നെറ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള.
അതെ. പിന്നെ മാഡത്തിന്റെ ചോദ്യം, ഇത് എങ്ങനെ പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് പേപ്പർ പേന കുഴപ്പമൊന്നുമില്ല, പക്ഷെ പ്രശ്നം ഇപ്പോഴും അതിൻ്റെ ഡ്യൂറബിലിറ്റിയാണ്. ഇതേ ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്. അതിനകത്ത് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഇപ്പോഴും പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് റീഫില്ലാണ്. ആ ഒരു ഇഷ്യൂ അപ്പോഴും അവിടെ നിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ടെന്നുള്ളതാണ്. മൂന്നാമത്തെ പ്രശ്നം, ഈ നേർഡിൽ റിമൂവ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള കേസിൽ നമുക്കൊരു ടെക്നോളജിയും ഇല്ല. കാരണം നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ആക്സിഡന്റ് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഇതുവരെ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ഇതൊരു ഐ ഓപ്പണറാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിനുവേണ്ടിയുള്ള സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ഓപ്പറേറ്റിംഗ് പ്രൊസീജിയർ ഉണ്ടാക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമമാണ് ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഈ കമ്മിറ്റിക്കും കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നതാണ് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അതനുസരിച്ചിട്ടൊരു ഇത് എങ്ങനെ മാറ്റണം എന്നുള്ളതിനെ പറ്റി കൃത്യമായിട്ടൊരു പ്രൊസീജിയർ ഗവൺമെൻറ് പക്ഷത്തില്ല എന്നുള്ളത് ശരിയാണ്. ഇവിടെ മാത്രമല്ല, ലോകത്തെവിടെയില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഇതുണ്ടായ സ്ഥലങ്ങളിലെല്ലാം അവരിത് മാറ്റാനുള്ള മെഷീൻസ് ഒക്കെ ഓൾറെഡി ഡിവൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. നമുക്കതില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അതിനി ഇതൊരു പാഠമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ നിന്നുള്ള പ്രൊസീജിയർ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് വരും എന്നുള്ളതാണ് പ്രതീക്ഷ. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.
Sir, I think we have a few more questions. Kurian Joseph has also raised his hand. Please go ahead, Kurian.
ഗുഡ് ഈവനിങ് സാർ. പ്രൊഫസർ ബിജുകുമാർ സാർ, നാഗരാജ് സാർ. സാറേ, ഒരു കാര്യം പറയാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ്. ഞാൻ കുട്ടനാട്ടുകാരനാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ കോട്ടയം ഭാഗത്തെയും ഈ പത്തനംതിട്ട ഭാഗത്തെയും എല്ലാ മാലിന്യങ്ങളും വന്ന് അടിയുന്നത് കുട്ടനാട് പ്രദേശത്താണ്. പക്ഷേ വെള്ളം മാത്രം കടലിലൂടെ ഒഴുകി പോകുന്നു. ബാക്കി പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് മൊത്തം ഞങ്ങളുടെ കായലിൽ മൊത്തം അടിഞ്ഞുകൂടിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം പറയുന്നു. പിന്നെ മത്സ്യ ഇത് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു വൻ സാധ്യതയുള്ള പ്രദേശമാണ് മത്സ്യസംഭവം. നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ഫിഷ് ഒരു മിനി ഗൾഫാണ്. ഇവിടെ ഒരു മത്സ്യ വളർത്തുന്ന ഈ കായലിലൊക്കെ കരിമീൻ വളർത്തൊക്കെ വൻ സാധ്യതയാണുള്ളത്. പക്ഷെ അതൊന്നും സർക്കാരിന്റെ ഭാഗത്ത് ഉണ്ടാകുന്നില്ല. ഈ രണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങളും പറയാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രമേ. താങ്ക് യു സാർ.
ഓക്കെ, കുട്ടനാട്ടിലേക്കുള്ള സ്പെസിഫിക് പാക്കേജ് ഉണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് സാധ്യത സാറിനും കൂടെ പറയാൻ പറ്റുമായിരിക്കും. പാക്കേജ് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് വരുന്നുണ്ട്. പൊല്യൂഷൻ, പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് പൊല്യൂഷൻ കുട്ടനാടിലെ വെറ്റ്ലാൻഡിൽ മൊത്തം ഉണ്ടെന്നുള്ളതും ശരിയാണ്. അതിനൊരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഇന്റർവെൻഷൻ വരേണ്ടി വരും എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ഓക്കെ,
താങ്ക് യു സാർ.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
സാറേ, ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചോട്ടെ സാറേ? ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട നമ്മുടെ വെബിനാറിൽ പങ്കെടുത്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങളെ, ബിജു സാർ, എൻ്റെ പേര് ഹക്കീം എന്നാണ്. ഞാൻ ലോ അക്കാദമിയിലെ സെക്കൻഡ് ഇയർ സ്റ്റുഡൻ്റ് ആണ്. എൻ്റെ വീട് കായംകുളം പത്തിയൂർ ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത്. സാറേ, ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ചോദ്യം, സർവ്വസാധാരണമായി നമ്മൾ ഈ ലോക പരിസ്ഥിതി ദിനം ജൂൺ 5-ന് നമ്മൾ ആഘോഷിക്കുകയും അതിൻ്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഒട്ടനവധി കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ ഈ സമൂഹത്തിന് നൽകുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ സ്കൂള്, കോളേജ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള തലങ്ങളിൽ ഈ ഒരു ദിവസത്തിന്റെ പ്രസക്തി എന്താണെന്നുള്ളതിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് മാത്രം പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ ആ വർഷത്തിൽ നിന്ന് കടന്നു പോവുകയാണ്. പക്ഷെ ഒരു തുടർ പ്രവർത്തനം ഉണ്ടാവുകയാണ് എങ്കിൽ, ഈ പറഞ്ഞ കലാലയങ്ങളിൽ ഒരു തുടർ പ്രവർത്തനം ഉണ്ടാവുകയാണ് എങ്കിൽ ഈ പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് മാലിന്യങ്ങളെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് വളരെ ഫലവത്തായ രീതിയിൽ ഇത് നമുക്ക് നിർമ്മാണം ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയും എന്നാണ് എൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രതീക്ഷ. രണ്ടാമതായി, ഗവൺമെന്റ് അതിന് ഉതകുന്ന രീതിയിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ മേഖലയിലും ഹരിതസേന എന്ന് പറയുന്ന വനിതകളെ നിയമിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു 90% നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഈ പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് മാലിന്യങ്ങളെ ഒരു പരിധിവരെ ഉന്മൂലനം ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള സഹായ സഹകരണങ്ങൾ അവരുടെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്ന് ഉണ്ടാവുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ എങ്കിൽ കൂടിയും കലാലയങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് ഇതെങ്ങനെ നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിലെ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾക്കും അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ സമൂഹത്തിലെ ജനങ്ങൾക്കും ഗുണകരമായി മാറ്റത്തക്ക രീതിയിലുള്ള എന്ത് പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് നടത്താൻ പറ്റും?
ഓക്കെ, തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നല്ല സജഷനാണ്. ഇതിനകത്ത് ഈ എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് ഡേയിൽ മാത്രം ചെയ്യേണ്ടുന്ന കാര്യമല്ല, വർഷത്തിൽ എല്ലാ ദിവസവും ഇതിൽ തുടങ്ങി എല്ലാ ദിവസങ്ങളിലേക്കും പിന്നെ ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടേണ്ടുന്ന ആക്ടിവിറ്റിയാണ്. പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് ആണ് എല്ലാ ദിവസവും നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഒരു വസ്തുവാണെന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അത് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ക്യാമ്പയിൻ സ്ഥിരമായിട്ട് നടക്കേണ്ടുന്ന ഒരു ക്യാമ്പയിനാണ്. പിന്നെ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ ഹരിതകർമ്മസേനയുടെ കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞു. ആ ഹരിതകർമ്മസേനയുടെ ഒരു ഇടപെടലാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷത്തെ സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഓഫ് ദി എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് റിപ്പോർട്ട് ഡൗൺ ടു എർത്ത് പ്രസിദ്ധീകരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. സെന്റർ ഫോർ സയൻസ് ആൻഡ് എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് സ്ഥാപനമാണിത് പ്രസിദ്ധീകരിക്കുന്നത്. അതിനകത്ത് കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ സ്ഥാനം ഏറ്റവും താഴെയാണ്. എൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം, കേരളത്തിൽ പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് വളരെ എഫിഷ്യൻ്റ് ആയിട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറച്ച് വർഷങ്ങളായിട്ട് നടക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ എക്സാമ്പിളാണ്. ഒട്ടും ഇല്ല എന്നുള്ളതല്ല, മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ ആദ്യത്തെ സ്ഥാനം ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഇന്ത്യയിൽ പ്ലാസ്റ്റിക് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത് ഗുജറാത്താണ്. അപ്പോൾ മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് നടക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് ഹരിതകർമ്മസേനയുടെയും കൂടി പ്രവർത്തനത്തിൻ്റെ ഫലമാണ് എന്നുള്ളത് ശരിയാണ്.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll move on to the vote of thanks. I now invite Advocate Gayatri SB ma'am to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Josie. Good evening to one and all. Respected Dr. A. Bijukumar, Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies, Advocate Nagaraj Narayanan, sir, Director, Kerala Law Academy Law College, and Member, Bar Council of Kerala, Professor Anilkumar K, sir, Director, Administration, Students and Faculty Affairs, Professor Harindran K, sir, Principal, Law Academy Law College, Professor Anilkumar G, sir, Vice Principal, Kerala Law Academy Law College, participants, faculty conveners, student conveners, and dear students. It is both an honor and a privilege for me to deliver the vote of thanks on this meaningful occasion, organized in observance of World Environment Day by the Kerala Law Academy Law College in collaboration with the Forestry Club and IQAC KLA. At the outset, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. A. Bijukumar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies. Sir, your words were nothing short of enlightening. Through your words, you have not only deepened our understanding of pressing environmental challenges, but also emphasized the urgency of protecting our marine ecosystems and biodiversity. Your insights served as a bridge between academic knowledge and practical advocacy, reminding us all of the powerful role that science, policy, and education must play in ensuring a sustainable future. We are truly grateful for your time, wisdom, and presence here today. Thank you very much, sir. Next, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Advocate Nagraj Narayanan sir, whose multifaceted role as the Director of Kerala Law Academy Law College and member Bar Council of Kerala has been a source of inspiration for all. Sir, your support and encouragement have been instrumental in our journey. We are truly indebted to you for being our pillar of strength. Thank you, sir. Next, I take this opportunity to thank Professor K. Anil Kumar sir, Director, Administration, Students, and Faculty Affairs, for being the driving force behind our institution's success. Your unwavering commitment to academic and extracurricular excellence is truly commendable. Thank you, sir. Next, we express our sincerest appreciation to Professor Harindran K. sir, our principal, for his consistent inspiration and guidance in all academic activities at the institution. Thank you so much, sir. To Professor Anil Kumar G. sir, Vice Principal, Kerala Law Academy Law College, we extend our thanks for your constant support and mentorship. Your guidance has been instrumental in the success of this event. I would also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Rajda Nair Elma, Head of the Department, Kerala Law Academy Law College, whose profound wisdom and guidance have been instrumental in bringing the vision of this event fruitful. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your contributions. Next, my deepest appreciation goes to our faculty conveners, Advocate Kasturi ma'am, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College, Advocate N.K. Shashidharan sir, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College, and Advocate Girida Vinod sir, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College. Your hands-on support and creative ideas brought vitality and structure to this event. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to Advocate Kavya ma'am, Assistant Professor, Kerala Law Academy Law College, for her thoughtful and inspiring welcome address, which set the tone for today's deliberations. A special thanks to our ITT, whose silent and tireless efforts behind the scenes ensured a seamless technical experience for all. Your professionalism and readiness are genuinely appreciated. Thank you for being the backbone of this event. To our faculty coordinators, student volunteers, and all behind-the-scene contributors, your meticulous efforts ensured the seamless execution of today's event. We are deeply thankful to each and every one of you. Your engagement and presence have enriched this gathering and strengthened the spirit of this observance. Thank you so much. Let us leave today with not just knowledge, but also a renewed sense of duty towards our planet. Together, we may continue to learn, reflect, and act in service of the environment. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, ma'am, for your heartfelt and detailed note of appreciation. It is my honor to express gratitude for your tireless behind-the-scene efforts. With that, we drew this enlightening session to a close. On behalf of the Kerala Law Academy Law College, the Forestry Club, and IQAC KLA, we extend our sincere thanks to all the attendees, speakers, organizers, and participants who made this gathering not only possible, but profoundly impactful. Let us carry forward the insights gained today, transforming them into thoughtful actions that contribute to a more sustainable and just world. This is Joy C. Joy and Namita Kesedo signing off with gratitude and hope. Thank you, stay safe, and continue to stand for the planet.
Thank you.